Okay, we're just hopping on a little bit early because we have a caller on the line and we want to test out some things and make sure stuff works. Who is this and where you representing, man? What's going on, Bubba? Yeah. Hold on one. A whole bunch of wood. Hey, hold on one second. Let me just double check something. What'd you say, man? All right, cool. You hear Hans too? Oh shoot, that's the whole point. Okay. Um, let me see. The same issue that we had before. It's like, uh, I, I can hear you, but can it hear everybody else? So, we're going to disconnect and we're going to get back to it. But thanks for helping me out, man. Appreciate it. All right, later. Okay, folks. We actually started just a little bit earlier. This is normally we go on live at 7 o'clock, but we got people in here already, which is great. Hey, my name is Brian, aka Uncle B, and I'm the men's performance coach with Goodwood. And this is what we do weekdays, 7 o'clock. We get into it. We talk about all types of things. What's going on, Hollis? All up there in the comment section. We talk about men's sexual health. And so, what we're trying to do is set everything up so we can actually do a live call in show. We have guys who do want to, got questions, and I got answers. I've been doing this for 25 years. I got answers. So, what I want to do is hear from you. So, you can go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. Let me know where you're from and what your name is, where you're from, and let's have a conversation, man. Today we're going to be talking about your performance score. We're going to go over that because that's really important. We have launched the Goodwood Wood on Demand Challenge. If you go into the comment, go into the description on YouTube, you will see where you can sign up for that. I highly suggest you do that because that is the way that you can get over whatever issues that you may have, whatever is ailing you, because that's really important. A lot of times, what guys do is thinking that, okay, I have this little issue, it's going to go away. If you do not know how to take care of it, it doesn't just go away. It actually it could get worse. And that's the thing that we're trying to avoid. So go ahead, hit me up in the comment sections with your questions. And we're going to, just talk about all the things that's necessary. So just want to give you a quick background and some things that, I talk to about guys with, and really interesting stories that always come up. And one that stuck out to me is my man who was, he was my Uber driver. I was out in Utah taking a class, and said the Uber driver in there. He asked me what I did. I said I'm a men's performance coach with Goodwood, and we started talking. And he had a heart condition, which meant that he couldn't function the way that he wanted to in the bedroom, and neither could he do that for his fiance. And unfortunately, they broke off the engagement because of that. And I hear that too often where guys are, they're in situations that doesn't help. I mean, one, he's driving an Uber. So I was like, one of the things you need to do is move around more. I mean, he had, had a little weight to him. But he's driving Uber, so he doesn't really get out and get into it. So those are the type of things that we have to pay attention to as men. We have a use it or lose it situation, guys. I'm being serious about this. A lot of times we don't get that, that extra, that understanding that, hey, that whole thing that you want to do with your life in terms of your physicality and having sex and getting good relationships that last, those type of things require that you do some things. And believe me, I understand. This is not your fault. It's not something that you planned on having happen to you. This is something that unfortunately too many guys are going through, especially now because there's so many things that are wrong with our environment. Guys, I'm telling you, from the time you wake up, everything is just off. You think about the way that we grew up. I mean, not grew up. The way that humans are supposed to function in nature is basically a requirement that you are able to, wake up correctly. And how do you wake up correctly? The sun hits you. You're actually on a cool ground. On the ground, maybe a piece of fur, a blanket or something between you and the ground. You're actually getting energy from the ground. And then after that, you got the sun that's waking you up, and so your testosterone is naturally kicking in. Your serotonin is kicking in. Your melatonin, everything is in balance. We're so out of balance right now, and it keeps showing up in ways that we don't want to have happen. So it's really important that we all pay attention to our health on an extra level now, because I mean that's just waking up. We didn't talk about the fact that most people are going through with disturbed sleep. If you're having disturbed sleep, I mean everything from you have your pet in the bed with you, and that's moving around, waking you up. Maybe not in the bed, but in the bedroom. You have the TV on. You have a lot of a lot of different things that can affect you. So all of these things have to be taken into totality. That's the reason why we talk about your bedroom performance score, because it's based off of other things that you do, your patterns that you're doing every day. And so that's what the score reflects. It reflects exactly what you're doing every day. So just for those guys who are hopping on, we actually started a little bit early. Normally we start at 7 o'clock, but things we wanted to test some things. It didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but we are still going to keep going forward with this. And let me see, are we about to hit the top of the hour? It looks like we are. So let me go ahead and oh, there we go. Let me go ahead and let's get this party started right now. All right, everybody, welcome. This is Brian, aka Uncle B, and right now we're starting the Goodwood University office hours. This is where we get a chance to talk to each other. We get a chance to have conversations about men's sexual health and the things that you need to do. Whatever situation you have, it can be improved. You just need to have the right information. It's not just about, like, oh, woe is me. There is no woe is me around here. It's all about getting it in and getting good with the things that we're supposed to do. So today we're going to be talking about that good thing, that almighty thing called the men's performance score, because we're talking about being a part of the Wood on Demand challenge. You can see that in the description right now. As always, please go ahead, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what questions that you have so that we can get into it. What we're going to be talking about today is how to basically score yourself. This is something, because I've been a coach for so long, I've basically figured out a way to get guys to be able to help me help them by understanding where you are exactly with your score. And this is a score from 1 to 10. 10 means everything works. 1 means you need to go to the hospital. 5 to 7 means that you are unreliable. And the thing that I want guys to understand about this scale is that it actually helps you understand whether or not you're on the downward spiral or on the upward spiral. What we do in the Goodwood Challenge is we take everything we learned over the past 25 years, we encapsulated it so that you can focus in on these 5 things, these 5 areas that affect your performance score. And we just get into it. We just talk about all of those things that you need to know. And so one of the things that's really important is to just recognize what you are. You're a sexual performance athlete. At the end of the day, I mean, think about it. What else are you going to be doing? When it comes down to your life, your the things that you want to do in life, yeah, it's all really important that you are able to function fully. And so, when you are 50, 60, 70, you're not going to be a professional basketball player, not going to be a professional runner, but Miss Johnson in the senior center, she looking at you. So you need to be good for the entirety of your life. And so that's really important for you to have there. Hey, we got a great question here from a man, Dion. How's it going there, sir? Is your hembe safe for men in Goodwood? Actually, yes. That is actually the reason why it's in a combination. That's the way that herbs are supposed to be. Because what ends up happening is with your hembe is your hembe in particular. Your hembe is the bark of a tree, and your hembean is the actual chemical that is there for it does a lot of great things for your body, but by itself it is very strong. And so when you the mixture that we have with 8 other herbs, basically it soothes it out. So, we have the ginger in there, which helps with digestion. We have Damiana that's helping with blood flow, and it acts as an aphrodisiac. Cinnamon is a mild aphrodisiac. Sarsaparilla helps with blood circulation. All of these work in combination. If you were taking your hembe by itself, and I tried it, didn't have a stronger effect on me, but I've heard some other guys who are just like, they take it, they get heart palpitations, just a little bit too much for them. So that is a great question. But yeah, that is the reason why most herbs are supposed to work in combination with each other. And so that's why we have that formula. Great question, Dion. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So yeah, but what we're talking about is that whole thing of you being a sexual performance athlete and being able to use that your performance score to figure some things out. And I want to go ahead and just hop into some actual scores. um, because what ends up happening, this is one of the things that we do here, is that we basically we get scores from guys who, it's like, hey, I wanted to, they talk about their where they are. We ask like several different questions, and those questions basically help us figure out what your score is. And what I want to do today, something a little special, is actually go through and take a look at some scores, and the questions that we have and the type of things that I would say to you. So we have a gentleman here who took our survey. He is 60 years old, needs to lose weight. His sexual health goals: he wants to have erections on demand, boost sexual desire, wants to last longer during sex, want to boost ejaculations, is not taking any medication. That's great. Hasn't had morning wood in a while. His eating habits: he's tried to eat healthy most of the time. And as far as meat is concerned, chicken, fish, shrimp, ostrich, everything else, 20%. So he's mostly not eating that. When did he start noticing issues with his wood? It was the last few years. And is he currently taking GoodWood? No. Got to work on that, sir. And what else do we have here? Yep. And so basically his score puts him at A5, which means he's unreliable. And so what would I say to this? I mean, I'm just going off of, I've been doing this for a while. I've been just going off of the things that he's saying on here. And more than likely, if we're talking about age 60, it's not unusual, obviously, to come in at a 5. One of the things you have to recognize about men in general as we age is that, was it 30% of men over 30 have erectile issues, 40% of men over 40, 50% of men over 50, 60% of men 60, 70% of men over 70. It sort of just makes sense. You don't expect a 25-year-old and an 85-year-old to have the same level of sexual energy, prowess, etc. And also, as you get older, if you do not get proper blood flow down there, it's called shrinkage, penis atrophy. It's called shrinkage. The veins in there, the very tiny veins that are in there, will actually start hardening, and therefore, you're not getting as much blood flow in there. You're not getting as much oxygen in there, and it's going to start shrinking on you. So, obviously, one of the big things is, he needs to lose weight. And as you get older, one of the things is you don't need to be as slim as guys who are younger. But as you get older, one of the things that you have to pay attention to is your weight, because it starts slowing it down. Every fat cell that you have, there's an actual blood vessel that leads to it. So the more fat cells you have, the more blood vessels you have, the more work your heart is doing, the more nitric oxide needs to be pumping through your body in order for you to get blood to the places that you want it to be, especially when we're talking about your penis, because it has some of the smallest blood vessels in your entire body. So, if he's sitting there at a 5 at age 60, he's on the downward side of things. And what we want to do is get him going back in the upward side. And it's all about your patterns. One of the main things that we talk about in the challenge is being able to look at your patterns and figuring out what it is. What I often do when someone tells me, like, hey, I'm not feeling good, or whatever the situation is, the first thing I ask them, what's the last thing you ate? Seriously, like, what's the last thing that you ate? My mother would ask, like, when's the last time you had a bowel movement? But I'm not going to get that far. But what is the last thing that you ate? Because if you don't pay attention to what you're eating, and how it affects you, you can be following the same pattern over and over again. For a long time, I was able to eat salmon. I was able to eat certain foods, and they didn't bother me. As I got older, I started noticing that if I eat salmon, I'm going to have problems with my knee. If I eat shrimp, my left big toe gets swollen. It's just levels of inflammation that happens, and it's not just because of meat. It could obviously be because of Doritos, potato chips, alcohol. Anything that you put into your body is going to cause a certain level of inflammation, and that is because your body has to react to what you just put in there. So that's really important. So for a guy like this, it looks like he's trying to eat healthier, but uh great question, Peter. It looks like he's trying to eat healthier, but there's more work to be done. Definitely with the exercises, especially as you get older, it's important. One of the things that I'm doing right now, just give you a good thought process to consider. Learn this from wrestlers, and this is, they'll do like 500 air squats a day. And so I just, I'm doing the research. I'm like, let me find out. I started doing it myself. And basically, because you're working the largest muscles in your body when you're doing squats, you're actually moving more blood flow. You're stressing your body. You're working your knees. You're helping your balance, especially as you get older. You want to have your balance in place. So let me get to this question right here from Peter. Can Goodwood stop penis atrophy? In theory, yes. What I say in theory is because it's not a cure all. You have to do other things as well. You can't take Goodwood and eat Twinkies all day and think it's going to be all good. But what it does do, it increases the blood flow to your penis, and that's like I said, it's a use it or lose it situation. So you need more blood flow. The formula, one of the side effects, very few side effects of Goodwood, is that your hands and feet will feel cooler, and that's because you're drawing blood to the center of your body and where your genitals are. And with that, you're actually going to be able to get stronger, firmer, longer lasting erections. Also, it increases your testosterone output. So the bursting and burning of testosterone is what fuels an erection, so you can have erections for a longer period of time. And one of the things that, especially as we talk about our guy here who is 60, let's call him Kev, who's 60 and who has some of these issues here. Basically, he's dealing with the prospect of getting to that penis, in that realm of penis atrophy, and you need to, start moving. Start moving. Start, if you're taking Goodwood, it's going to help you with that blood flow, and also overnight you have 4 to 5 erections. That fifth erection is usually your morning erection. The better you eat, the better you take care of yourself, the better sleep you have, the more blood flow you have going down there naturally. So, uh, I'm not a person who just sits there and says that you need to, masturbate. But at some point, if you're not getting a good sleep, it's, once again, use it or lose it. Joking. We can call it joking, masturbation, whatever. Just different ways to look at it. But all of this is really important, guys, because when it comes down to it, if you're not taking care of these types of things, it will get worse. So let's go ahead and take a look at another gentleman. He's in his 50s, and he's looking to improve erection strength, boost sexual desire, last longer during sex, stop premature ejaculation, increase penis size, boost ejaculation. He wants everything. And you should get everything. You deserve that, sir. But we have some issues here. He's taking 4 to 7 pills, 4 to 7 medications. Needs to lose weight. He has morning erections once in a while. Interesting. Tries to eat healthy. He eats 75% is meat based, and started noticing erection issues the last few years, and is not taking Goodwood. Yeah, you need some help, sir. And so what we're looking at is, let's get into the medications, my man. Let me see. What else? Do we have any other information on him? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, yep, he's coming in at a 5 on the sexual performance scale. So, if you're coming in at a 5 on the sexual performance scale in your 50s, we just talked about a gentleman in his 60s, but here's the switch up. For this guy, he has 4 to 7 pills, 4 to 7 medications that he's taking. Guys, the whole goal of medications should be to get off of medications. Just remember that. Spread that word. For some reason, some people just get to the thought process that, okay, the doctor hands me medication in advance. What was that? They said that you had to keep taking medication for the rest of your life for lupus. Yeah, all of that. Uh, yeah, that's not a good look. That is not. He recognized that's not a good look, and he's been working out. He's been doing all the right things. He's taking Goodwood has been taking African Fly for the longest. He takes other herbs that we talk about here, and so he doesn't have those issues. He's not taking those pills. I talk to guys who have diabetes and who do not recognize that you can actually get off of diabetes. There's this thing that's like, oh, you have diabetes, it's just there. It's like, that's not true. There was a pattern of things that you did. I'm talking about type 2 diabetes. There's a pattern of things that you did to get to that process. You need to reverse engineer it to get back out of that so you can actually function even better. Okay. So yeah, let's take another look at another one. So yeah, he's in his 60s too. Let me get somebody who's younger. All right, let's get into the 30s here. All right, so for those guys who joined, this is Brian, aka Uncle B. This is Goodwood University Radio. We're talking about your sexual performance score, your bedroom score, and how to increase that. Since you are a sexual performance athlete, you might as well train like one. So, got a question here from Keith. What's going on, man? How you doing? Uh-huh. Mm. This is always an interesting one. I have morning wood almost every day, but I'm having trouble keeping it once playtime has started. Any advice? Woo! That's always an interesting one. So, if you're having morning wood almost every day, things looks like everything is functioning correctly, except for when it's time to perform. We talk about this a lot. We talk about performance anxiety. And one of the things about performance anxiety is just the way that you think about it. And I'm not exactly sure if this is your situation. I'm just speculating. But, if you've had a bad performance before, and then you have another bad performance, and then it starts getting into your head. You start thinking about it. It's like, oh man, she comes over, and it's like, okay, I'm not hard yet. What's going on? And y'all touching each other. I'm not hard yet. And it's like she takes her clothes off, and you're looking at her like, ooh, she look good, but I'm not hard yet. Well, basically it's because you're thinking about it too much. You're basically increasing your cortisol by constantly thinking of, like, when's my erections coming up? And testosterone and cortisol are the enemies. Let me say, there's nothing in your body that's an enemy of each other, but it's the out of balance. So you need that testosterone in order to keep that erection up. But you also need to have uh your cortisol under control, and your cortisol gets kicked off with stress. And so if you're stressing about having sex, then you're lowering your testosterone. One of the things to do, and this actually works for a lot of guys pretty quickly once they understand this concept, is stop doing that. uh, don't worry about it. It's like a couple of things. One, just recognize that foreplay is for men. I say this all the time because what ends up happening is that when you have, you know, most of the time when we go around as men, we're not running around just touching people constantly. Yeah, they got laws and all types of stuff. And so, we're going out throughout our entire day, not really hugging people, not being in contact with people, and then all of a sudden you see a person is just supposed to be there. And it's like, that's not the way your body works, especially as you get older. We're once again, as I started talking earlier today, we're out of balance. And part of that balance is actual human touch from other people. And if you're not getting that, if you're not getting stimulation to automatically be turned on, that's a difficult thing to do. So if you're the actual process of touch is going to release dopamine, it's going to release feel good chemicals, and that's going to stimulate the testosterone. If you could imagine, just this happened to me when I was when I was in high school. We were on a trip, and this young lady that was there on this trip, and we had, it was wild. But it was just that whole thing. My testosterone was already kicking in and she was looking all fine and everything like that. I ended up with blue balls. I mean, the point is, it's like, because she was there, because I had the stimulation and we were, sitting next to each other, touching each other, acting like high school kids, it was just off the chain. That's what you need. Once, after high school, man, I don't think I ever had like blue balls like that again. And that's because, well, yeah, how was that supposed to happen? By the time I got out of college, got my first corporate job with AT&T, we went from like co-eds all over the place to soccer moms talking about, babysitting. The turn off stopped turning on. There we go. So yeah, so that's something to take a look at there, sir, in terms of what you can do in order to make sure you're keeping up. So get that foreplay in, and also, foreplay throughout the day, just calling her up, talking to her, making some, comments and things like that. Obviously, you want to pay attention once again to what you're doing right before you're having sex. Because a lot of times people they lose sight of that whole process where it's like, hey, how many people are, they lose sight of, what you just eat right before any performance. It's sort of like, if you're going to play any sport, I think as a sport, sex is almost mostly like swimming, because you're changing positions, you're doing things, all this, all of these type of things. And what do they say? Don't eat 3 hours before you go swimming, and that's because your stomach actually takes 3 hours to digest food. Depending on what type of food it is, could take a lot longer. But as soon as you consume something, your body has to start breaking it down. Otherwise, you're going to run into more problems. So yeah. I hope that helps out with you, sir. So yeah, once again, guys, we're talking about the sexual performance score, your score from 1 to 10. What's going on, Eric? How's it going, man? Uh, we're talking about your score from 1 to 10, and where you should be. And we just talked about a guy in his 30s. Let's see what else we got. We got a guy in his 40s. All right. So what is he trying to do? Improve erection strength, last longer during sex, stop premature ejaculation, increase penis size, boost ejaculations. He wants it all. It's not taking any medication, needs to lose weight. That is a common thing. Um, has morning erections all the time, tries to be healthy most of the time. Uh-huh. Oh shoot. I think I just lost that. Oh, here we go. Yep. Doesn't eat a lot of meat. Okay. Is not taking good wood. What is wrong with you, sir? And he's a 6 out of 10, which means that basically he's unreliable. Just to give you once again context, 5, 6, and 7 is unreliable. 8, 9, and 10, that's morning erections, spontaneous erections, erections on demand. You have all of that. Once you get below a 5, that you're into ED land, and you want to avoid that. Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Eric. Okay. So yeah, what would I say about a person with this particular situation? Because a lot of the things he's doing is correct. Um, but what are we looking at here? I think we're missing some things. It'd probably be very interesting to find out what his sleep is like. Because a lot of times what ends up happening is we got guys who unfortunately, they don't take their sleep as seriously. I always say that everything that you do during the day is energy potential. If you're doing a not medication, meditation, you're doing your meditation, you're watching what you eat, you're getting your exercise in, you're getting out there in the sun, all of these wonderful things, it builds up energy potential. It doesn't fulfill itself until you go to sleep. And so sleep is one of the most important things that you need to do, because if you don't get your sleep in, you're going to be running into problems all the time. And let's talk about another different situation here. So guys, just really quick, just a reminder, I'm just going through the survey, and I think we have the survey in the description link. If you join us in the Goodwood Wood on Demand Challenge, that's one of the first things we have you do is take the survey, so we can figure out exactly where you are on that scale. And so these are some examples of guys. We got this guy in his 40. He wants it all: improve erection strength, last longer, boost sexual desire, stop premature ejaculation, the entire thing. But he is on the slim side, has erections, morning erections all the time, tries to eat healthy. Okay. I don't know anybody in Wyoming. What's going on? Uh, yeah, and he started noticing erection issues the last few years. So yeah, into his 40s. So yeah, one of the things that I like to point out to a lot of guys because of, we talk about weight a lot. You know, uh, I'm a what do they call it? I'm a mesomorph, as in I got. We're talking about body types. I got that stocky build. It's easy for me to gain strength. It's also easy for me to gain fat. So it's an ongoing struggle. But on the opposite side of that, there are a lot of guys who are slim who also have issues. And a lot of times we think that, if you're slim, then you wouldn't have health issues. They wouldn't be as readily there. But here's something very interesting. If you look at bodybuilders, guys who hit in the gym, they, getting swollen and all this other kind of stuff. Some of the professional guys, the guys who are really ripped and cut up, they have diabetes. They have health issues. And that's because, if you're sitting there constantly spiking your blood with glucose, you're just eating food that they have to do in order to get to that size and everything like that. What's going on, Don Coolio? If you're trying to get to that, trying to get that size, and you're eating constantly, you're spiking your blood sugar, you're really taxing your liver, you're actually going to put yourself into a predicament. And so you can have type 2 diabetes and extremely healthy. Look extremely healthy. So that's really important for the guys who are slimmer, who think like, I can just eat whatever I want to. Um, Maybe when you're younger, but as you get older, you can get that skinny fat. And it may not show up in terms of fat cells around your body, but it's affecting your internal organs. So that is the reason why you can be in your 40s, be slim, and still end up being a five. And a lot of other things can play into that. Really quick, I do want to touch on something. Uh-huh. Gotcha, yeah, Eric. I do want to touch on something really quick, and that is on the side of your mental health. We don't really go into it too deep because I'm not a mental health specialist, but I do want to point out to guys, it's like, yeah, you really need to pay attention to how you're dealing with your day to day stress. And here's an interesting thing: when you actually people who actually figure out how to deal with their stress actually have a lot less stress. I mean, it's sort of obvious, but you're if you're dealing with if you have stress and you have a plan to deal with the stress, it actually works out better for you. So that's really important for just for how your overall well-being. If you have a plan and you're executing on your plan, that's you're feeding your body that dopamine. You're actually going to get better. Uh-huh. Ah, Don, this is my issue right now. Weightlifting, trying to pack on size, but I have to constantly eat. Yeah, yeah. I'm the opposite, and I lift weights and I have to constantly stop eating. It's crazy, but the thing that to think about though is just being very careful about what you eat, especially because the bodybuilding world is relatively new. We're talking about it's really kicked off in the 70s, and one of the things that came across is like, hey, you got to eat a lot. I mean, for some guys, you do need to eat in order to get that weight to stay on. But if you're getting into those protein shakes, those protein drinks, all the my question was when I started doing that for whatever reason, I had to stop that. When I started, like, oh, let me get the protein bars, the protein shakes, and everything, I just started gaining weight. But it was like, why am I eating sugar? That's the most important part, is trying to figure out is trying to be very careful about what you eat. You still have to eat clean. It still has to be healthy for you. Otherwise, you can everything you eat is going to increase your glucose. But if you're just constantly slamming extra sugar into your body in the form of these protein shakes, you're actually setting yourself up for the diabetes, for different issues. So thanks, Don, for bringing that up. That's a really good point right there. Um, but yeah. So guys, please do me a favor. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and notification bell, all that good stuff. That really does help us out. One of the things that we're facing as men in general is that the world is lining up against us. They don't want us to be as healthy as we can be because healthy men are we're not the status quo. We know how to take care of ourselves, and so we have a lot of entities that are trying to make sure that we do not have the right information. They're like, hey, we just want to push you towards doctors, and that's it. And that is a problem. Doctors are great. I'm not saying I have a problem with doctors. Doctors are great at diagnosing and giving pills. Well, depending on the doctor, some of them diagnose and cut you. um, but the problem is that that's not a real remedy. A real remedy is actually taking care of your entire life. That's the reason why with Goodwood University and us having the Wood on Demand Challenge, we do have our prize winners. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but we do have the prize winners, and we have guys who are they're going to be getting maca and black seed oil, um, because hey, that's what we do around here. Uh-huh. Mm, okay. Great question, Don. Um, he says, 53 black male. Does men's multivitamins play a role in health or a waste of money? Uh, do you take vitamins? Actually, no, I do not take vitamins. I don't take the multivitamins, and there's a particular reason why I don't take multivitamins, and it's because I don't. How did they get all those vitamins in there? That is really the interesting question. So basically, I always say that pills are the cheapest form of food known to man. It doesn't come from anything. Every piece of food that you typically eat has to come from the ground at some point. Even a Ritz cracker with some wheat at some point. You know, anything that you can think of. I think the only thing that's totally fake is like a Twinkie, but everything else in some shape or form has to come from the ground. Pills do not. But you go into a grocery store, any grocery store, any pharmaceutical, Walmart, Target, there are lines and lines and lines and lines of pills because they're incredibly cheap to make. We're talking about 3 cents a pill. So they'll go ahead and put 60 pills in there. What are we talking about? What, $1.80? And they'll sell it for like $20. And so, when it comes to the multivitamin, it's your food is a multivitamin. uh, you know, Here's a game that I like to play. It's called Let's Ask Google, and I'm not going to do it right now because I got Google right here. But basically, I'll ask what is the in fact, let me go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and show off right quick because I just had some earlier. Hey Google, what are the health benefits of blueberries?
Blueberries are rich in vitamin K, which helps promote heart health. The vitamin is also important in bone health and blood clotting. Blueberries are one of the best natural sources of antioxidants. They're thought to have the highest levels of antioxidants of any common fruit or vegetable.
Yeah. So I would rather eat a a blueberry than get a multivitamin because it's going to do a lot of other things. Just packing in, we have what is that? Centrum A through Z. Okay, so you have A through Z in your body, but all vitamins that we get from fruits and vegetables come with the antioxidants, comes with other several other benefits. So it's much easier to just go ahead and get your all the nutrients that you need from fruit, from vegetables. So I would say it's a waste of money because I wouldn't do it. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, that's actually interesting point. Don said right there. If you live in a tropical country, I don't think you need to take a multivitamin. Yeah, yeah, just go pluck it off a tree. You got the sun right there. You got your vitamin D. Uh-huh. Eric says pomegranates as well. Oh yeah, I love the pomegranate juice. And yeah, can't trust these GMO fruits. Interesting thing about GMO fruits is that most of the fruits that we already consume, whether we call them GMO or not, is already altered by humans. So the bananas that we see, in the bananas, those little dark marks that are in there, those are supposed to be seeds. If you were to take a look at the original banana before man came in and did all the extra things to it, it's lumpy. It's just this big seeds in there. and so you like taking seeds out to get to the banana part of it. So the same thing applies to they have these tangerines in the store that I see all the time. It's like these little small tangerines. It's sort of it's like it's something that you want your kids to get, but they're seedless, so it's GMO, and also they're extremely sweet. um and though it's like, yeah, I'd rather have a sweet fruit than candy. That's the part that happens. We've actually taken the fruits and the vegetables and we've done a lot of changes to it, to the point that we're not getting the exact same that feel that we need to get, that the level of nutrients that we need to have from them. So great points all around. Uh-huh. What's going on, Greg? Hmm. Ah, all right. Wonderful question. What is the primary difference between Goodwood and the advanced formula? The lower the score, the more likely the advance is recommended. Great call. That's basically that's basically it. Especially the older you get. So the difference between Goodwood and Goodwood Advance, both of them basically do the exact same thing in terms of increasing your testosterone and your blood flow to the genital regions. The difference with Goodwood Advance is that we added in stinging nettle, which is have has been proven to help your body keep testosterone. Because what happens when we hit 40 to 50 years of age, we start going through this transition where our testosterone can start turning it into estrogen through a process called aromatase. And so you can start, that's why you start seeing guys in their 40s and 50s, not only, hitting the grays, but also you're talking about you're losing out on that testosterone. So you're not as strong. It takes a lot longer to heal from injuries. It's harder to lose fat. It's harder to gain muscle. It's harder to keep an erection. So the whole point of taking Goodwood Advance is for the older guys and for guys lower on that score, so to make sure that you're actually keeping your testosterone. You can do all the things that you want to as you get older to keep that testosterone level up, but nature is already pre-programmed you to start bringing it down a notch. So you want to be very careful. So that's the big difference between Goodwood and Goodwood Advance. If you're having a low score, then definitely go with the Goodwood Advance. It will help you out. Great question, guys. Hey, I really do appreciate you hopping on. This is Brian once again. Uncle B, Goodwood Radio, Goodwood University Radio. We're going to be back tomorrow, and we got another banger. What do we got tomorrow? Let me just take a look right quick. Because one of the things that I want to make sure we do is, I'm trying to give you guys as much information as possible. Like I said, we're up against the gun on a lot of the things that are happening with our world. They're trying to set us up. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the secret ingredient for erections. I would tell you what it is right now, but I'm not going to. I want to see you tomorrow. So yeah, stay tuned tomorrow, 7 p.m. We're going to be talking about that. We actually missed a. We can go to that. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Please, if you have not done so, go ahead and hop into Goodwood University. You'll see the link down below in the description. Let me just go ahead and give a quick shout out to guys who've already signed up. Wow. 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 We had a bunch of guys sign up today. Shout out to Aaron, Job, Earl, Keith, Carl, Donald, Hawk, Arnold, McKinley, Vincent, Lonnie, Walter. We have a lot of guys in here. We have a lot of guys who are joining us. Kevin, Jude, John. Yeah, I mean, all of this is it's important. One of the reasons why we have this particular challenge is so that we can get more guys to pay attention and help each other out. I mean, actually, I'm gonna be honest, it helps me out when I see guys with their positive responses, and just learning from guys. I always learn something new. That's the reason why I like doing this. So we are coming up past a half an hour. Unless we have any other questions, we're gonna go ahead and close this out. I will see you tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. If you join us at Goodwood University, you'll also get an extra email, some more information, some more emails with some more. This is what we do. We just give as much information as possible so that you can get to the best you as you possibly can. So go into the description. Join us at Goodwood University. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Otherwise, gentlemen, thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow, and we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. This is your Uncle B saying, get your game up and go hard. Peace out.